making sure we find that chip, aren't we? Scotty, what am I looking at?
66 Post Nova. My pile.
Your fun car?
It's my pile.
Your
Yeah,
fun car?
my beater.
Check this out. Built in-house. Little small box.
Garage.
What'd you say, 367 it was?
368.
368. If we're lucky, he'll do a burnout when he leaves.
Doesn't burn out.
Yeah, right. Okay. It's a cool little car.
Cool.
Said it was painted as a joke. And now it's still here.
It's funny, you know, you paint it as a joke, but to see the people, like, we'll go for a ride and you'll see, dude, people that wave and give you a thumbs up.
Oh, I'm
on
sure.
it, like the reaction you get from people, it makes me happy, so I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it looks cool. People love crazy stuff.
Yeah. And everybody knows the car, they know where it's from,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's cool. It's just fun car.
Burn out. Burn out.
My motor's cold. Can't do anything, the motor's hot in the car. Pinch your ring.
Beat the noise.
Yeah, with lower line.
Yeah.
When the motor gets warm, it gets the motor actually grows in height, so the belt gets tighter.
Yeah.
The tighter that belt gets, the louder it gets. Sounds cool.
Horsepower. Horse torques.
About 60 up there.
We're making sure we find that chip, aren't we? Thanks for the ride there, Scotty.
No problem, anytime, brother.
And this is where my knowledge ends and Bruce's starts. So we are into the Greasy triple, I don't want to call it a build, get it running video. So Bruce is obviously the man for the job. So we touched a couple things already. And so Bruce will tell you kind of where we're at and what our plan is for this video at least.
Yeah, so I guess we want to get it running. The fuel that's in the tank has definitely been in there for a long time. So we're debating on, you know, it's not just a matter of cleaning the carburetors. We need to clean what's in the tank. So I opened up the tank and I went down there with a coat hanger and pulled up the pickup, and the pickup is all ready to fall apart, and you know the rubber's no good. So we're gonna take the seat and tank off of this so we can dump it better, and then clean any remnants of everything out, and we're gonna change that.
Yeah, throw a new pickup in.
Pickup that drops down to the bottom of that tank. The tank is pretty long in this one too. You just don't see it with the seat on it. So yeah, so we're gonna take the carburetors off of it, unhook everything, and then get them apart.
Yep. So pretty simple, guys. I mean, you know, we're not gonna go into too detailed here, but you know, we're gonna pull them off, pull them apart, and I got full rebuild kits for them. So everything on the inside of these, I have new. So we're gonna pull them apart, see kind of what they look like, and go from there, which Bruce is already in the process of doing.
Now you take slides on any of these old Makunis, you take the slides out, then you got to take the choke out of it, pull the fuel lines off. A lot of times with these old chokes, when you go to thread them out of here, they don't want to come out. This one here does. So a lot of times this slug is just welded right down in there from sitting, and sometimes you literally can't get them out, or you're going to ruin something to get them out. But this one, we're pretty lucky. I think we're going to be lucky with all of these because the choke works really good.
Yeah.
So we're in pretty good luck with this one because one test of this is if you grab the choke on any of these old carb units and it'll move, usually all the chokes are moving.
Right.
So
And
sometimes
if that's frozen, then
you're going to
they're
have trouble
frozen.
down in here.
And then what you said you heat them, try and...
Yeah, I mean, you got to try with a heat gun because you can't use open flame.
Right.
And sometimes that and lubing it up, sometimes you can get it out, sometimes you can't.
So we're going to pull all carbs off. We're going to pull this tank off, and then we'll pick up in a little bit. Okay. What do we got?
Okay, what we got is very bad fuel. And that's what you get. Nothing looks like brass or aluminum anymore. So we're going to have to soak
looks
this
like
stuff.
it's painted black.
I know. So we're doing that. We just we have to take the float levers off. And on all these old carburetors, this pin is pressed in. One side has a head,
Yep.
one side doesn't. You need to come on this side with a small punch and just tap it through. If you have a punch that's too big or you hit too hard, you can knock this post right off. And then you
That's
can
a bad day.
then you just throw the carburetor away and start with a very clean one, new. And so it's just a matter of literally just tapping that through just to get it so that it's free, and then should be able to just pull out like that. So now we got that off, and then that'll get us to where we're going to change those needles and seats, and then we're going to change the main jets and maybe even the nozzle that slid in there.
Right, we're going to see what came in the kit.
Yeah. So these
But
need
one float, what was upside down?
one float lever. I just took it out. One float lever was actually in the carburetor upside down, so it was actually, rather than looking like, sorry, stuck.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. People get it.
It should be like this, and actually was in there like this. So basically, it would have held the floats much lower than they should have been, because these arms is what's pushing on the floats to keep the level of fuel right, and it was upside down.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But very dirty.
Yeah, very dirty. We're gonna find the old cleaner that we don't use much anymore because we don't have carburetors anymore. But so we're gonna knock all this stuff apart, and we're gonna throw it all in the tank and clean it, and then from that point put all the fresh stuff back together. But one thing on these needles and seats, which I don't have them out yet, but when these come out, you take the little clip off, take the needle out. These still have the original, whatever this is made of, steel, stainless steel, whatever, needle, and then the brass seat. They made a big change and started going to a Viton tip, which was a rubber tip needle against the brass. Worked much better, didn't leak by, didn't have nearly the flooding issues that you used to have. So anybody that's firing up an old piece that wants to do it, these are very expensive through Polaris, but the Mikuni ones are very good compared to aftermarket. But you really want to change these, because what will happen is you'll fire it up, everything's good, you leave the fuel on, put it on the trailer, and it dumps all the fuel into the engine. And because one of these things hangs open, or they
Just didn't seat right?
Didn't seat right. Again, a line gets on the steel, and that's it.
That's
or
it.
wears the brass. Where now they use a rubber tip, Viton tip, against the brass, and the seating is much better. So chances are in your kit, that's what's going to be there, is Viton tip.
Cool. So he's tearing these apart. We're working on getting the seat off and everything like that, and we're just chomping away. So we'll check back. Okay. So I got the tank off for the most part. We just got to dump it and get that. But Bruce is at a certain point here, and he wanted to show us.
Okay, so I've been taking the jets and nozzles, which is the nozzle that goes all the way up through the carburetor, out. This is the easy one. I just wanted to show you how it came out, because the other ones I had to pound out with a hammer. So usually you don't want to do that.
Oh, you actually got a hammer out.
I actually got a
before he
hammer
was
out.
using a ratchet.
No, that ratchet wasn't on this. That was on something completely different. So once we do that, then we're talking about those needle and seat deals. I'm taking those out, so we're going to be able to, when we throw this in this fancy old carburetor parts cleaning tank. Yeah, I haven't used that much. And so we're going to pull all the rest of this rubber off of here, and we're going to just drop it right in and see what it looks like when it comes out. But but all of these other things have to be out to do that.
Right. And we were looking at the rebuild kit that we got, and the needle.
Yeah, that needle and seat that we were talking about. Here's a new one. There's that rubber or Viton tip that I was talking about into the brass, so that's the better one to go with.
So whatever I ordered offline seems to be good.
So far, so good. we may need some of these, what they call the nozzle, depending on what these things look like, because boy, we had to pound them out of there.
So, work in progress here. Work in progress. Once removing the seat, we realized how dirty it was, so we're at a car wash real quick. I don't even know what he's pouring on there.
A special concoction.
I'm sure it's something real good. So we're just gonna clean it up and then we'll get back in the shop, but I wanted to show you guys. So here we are, we're inside the tank now. We just pulled the pickup out of it, which is chunky and not funky.
Yeah, it's all enlarged just from old fuel.
Just loaded, so we're just putting a new line on it, and then we'll dump that back in there. The carbs are up on the bench. Bruce went and dug through some stuff that if it were up to me, I definitely would have threw out a long time ago, but good thing he didn't, because we need it. So we have some donor carbs now because ours are still little gross, but we're getting there. So we're back in assembly mode here. So we have one, for the most part, done. That was the donor one. That was nice and clean. And we're kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul here with some other ones. But Bruce is just getting everything back in there. We cleaned it best we could, and then carb cleanered it and blew it out and everything else afterwards. So
just trying to set float levels. I don't know if it'll matter much today. It's 95 degrees out, but
yeah, they're gonna be. It's gonna be chunky either way we look at it. If it runs.
Yeah.
Key word, if. What are we looking at here, Bruce?
Carbs are hooked up. Gotta get some fuel running through it, and we'll see what it sounds like.
If it sounds like anything.
I think you need to put some springs on those.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I forgot at home.
99 springs.
Yeah, 100 of them. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't even know where they are. So one spring per exhaust, or one spring per pipe should do.
For test, yes.
Yeah, just for test.
Yeah. And what about back there?
Oh, that's the only one that's not attached. You want to fire with these plugs in it?
Try it. See if we make it.
Come on now, you really didn't think I was going to show you if this thing ran in this video, did you? No, you have to come back for that one. But it's super impressive to work with Bruce on something like this. Just his knowledge is just out of this world. And I mean, he's probably not the most knowledgeable about these things, but holy smokes, the amount that he does have is just astronomical. And it's really impressive to me. And I really enjoy working with him. We work really well. We joke around. A lot of stuff that isn't on camera is just hysterical. And I wish I could run this thing 24/7 and capture all of it, but it's just, I'm working on getting better. But the 97 XCR 600 triple project is underway, and I am very excited about it. So you guys will have to come back in the next video to see if this thing actually runs or if it's just a complete dud. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.